Boarding a plane should be simple. One door, one aisle, assigned seats, and yet it somehow turns into the same bottleneck every time. So what's actually going on? Here's the real reason. Boarding isn't one problem. It's a stack of problems happening in the same narrow space at the same time. Think of it like trying to load a whole classroom through one hallway while everyone is rearranging their backpacks. Bottleneck number 1, the aisle. There's only one lane, and it's barely wider than a person. So if one person stops, everyone behind them stops too. That's not drama. That's just single-lane traffic. And the biggest reason people stop is bags. Overhead bins turn, boarding into a live, find space puzzle. It's lift, rotate, adjust, shuffle someone else's bag, realize it won't fit, then try again, while the aisle is completely blocked. Even if that pause is only a few seconds, it doesn't stay small, because the people behind can't pass. So the pause spreads backward through the line like a ripple. That's why boarding can feel slow even when everyone is moving. Now add the overhead bin stress. Most people don't want their bag checked at the gate. They don't want it placed 5 rows behind them. So they're not just walking, they're trying to secure a resource before it runs out. That's the invisible tension you can feel at the gate. It's why people stand up early. It's why Group 4 starts forming a line during Group 1. They're not impatient. They're reacting to scarcity. Bottleneck number 2, the seats. Even when the aisle is clear, the row isn't. If you're going to a window seat, you usually need someone to stand up or slide out. And that tiny moment becomes another stop in a stop-and-go system. This is where the excuse me chain happens. Someone gets to their row, but the aisle seat person is still putting something away, or someone is already seated and has to stand back up. It's not anyone's fault. It's just people trying to fit into a narrow row without stepping on each other. So boarding isn't walk, sit, done. It's a repeated loop. Aisle pause, row pause, aisle pause, row pause. You're watching dozens of tiny micro delays stack into one big delay. That's why it feels chaotic, because it's constantly restarting. Bottleneck number 3, incentives. If everyone's goal was fastest total boarding time, we'd behave differently. But most passengers have a more personal goal. Get my bag overhead and get to my seat without hassle. Those goals are completely rational, and they don't always align with speed. This is also why boarding strategies feel like myths. People swear by back to front, or front to back, or let families go first. But the real villain isn't the order, it's the congestion and the pauses. If your method creates bunching, you create blocking. Here's the interesting part. There are boarding methods that can move people faster, at least under ideal conditions. The best strategies reduce conflicts by spreading passengers out and reducing same row and same aisle collisions. Some approaches even look weirdly optimized, like a puzzle that tries to prevent people from stopping next to each other. So why don't airlines always use the optimal method? Because real life destroys perfect systems. Families want to board together. People arrive late. Some need extra time. And the more complicated the rule, the harder it is to enforce at a busy gate. Plus, airlines don't only optimize for boarding speed. They also optimize for predictability, simplicity, and keeping the process from melting down. A method that's slightly slower but easy to run can be better than a method that's faster but constantly breaks. So the system becomes a compromise. Now let's translate all of that into what you actually experience. You're standing in a crowded line, watching the aisle jam up every few steps. You hear bags thumping, zippers, people negotiating space, And all the while, the plane is basically a single-lane road with no shoulder. That's why boarding feels chaotic. The space is tight, the tasks are slow, and the incentives push people to move early. Even if everyone is polite, the bottlenecks still happen, because the bottlenecks are built into the physics of the cabin. So the next time it feels like a mess, here's the simple lens. One aisle, limited bin space, repeated pauses. It's not random, it's a bottleneck machine, and every flight runs the same machine with different people and different bags.